I am no lady. Brienne of Tarth says this in Season 8, Episode 2, standing by the fireplace in the Great Hall of Winterfell. But Jaime Lannister looks at her with something close to wonder and says, "I think you are," as he says the words that make her a knight. Something fundamental shifts. Not just for Brienne, for everyone watching. From the moment Catelyn Stark gave her the mission to find and protect her daughters, Brienne dedicated herself completely. She spent years searching for Sansa and Arya across a war-torn continent. She faced impossible odds, constant dangers, and repeated failures. She watched Catelyn die at the Red Wedding, but refused to let that release her from her vow. Even when Sansa initially rejected her protection at Winterfell, Brienne didn't abandon her duty. She waited, she watched, and when the signal came, she was ready. This journey to protect the Stark daughters defined Brienne's path. It tested every aspect of her honor and determination, and through it all, she never gave up. And in the end, she didn't just become a knight, she became the truest knight in all of Westeros. Because this scene proves what Brienne has been demonstrating for 7 seasons. She never gave up on her dream. Not when the world mocked her, not when people called her ugly, mannish, unnatural, not when knights themselves proved to be dishonorable cowards, not when every rule of Westeros said a woman could never be a knight. She kept fighting, kept serving, kept believing in the ideal of knighthood, even when everyone else had abandoned it. This scene is the culmination of one of the most powerful character arcs in Game of Thrones. And it proves that Brienne's greatest strength wasn't her skill with a sword or her physical power. It was her refusal to give up on who she was and what she believed in, no matter what the world told her.
The dream that everyone mocked. Let's start at the beginning. Brienne of Tarth grew up dreaming of being a knight. This wasn't unusual for a child. Lots of noble children grow up hearing songs about knights, about honor and valor and heroic deeds, about protecting the innocent and serving the realm. But for most children, especially girls, it stays a fantasy. They grow up. They learn what's expected of them. They accept the roles society has prepared for them. Brienne never did. She kept training, kept fighting, kept believing that she could be a knight even though Westerosi law explicitly forbids women from being knighted. And the world punished her for it. Men mocked her appearance, called her Brienne the Beauty as a cruel joke, made her believe she was ugly, undesirable, fundamentally wrong for wanting what she wanted. Women scorned her for rejecting traditional femininity, for wearing armor instead of dresses, for caring about honor and combat instead of courtly games and marriage. Even other warriors treated her as a curiosity, a freak, something to be pitied or laughed at, but never taken seriously. Remember her backstory. She tells Jaime about how, as a young woman, she thought a boy liked her. Humbert Hightower. He asked her to dance, was kind to her, made her feel for the first time that maybe someone could see past her appearance to who she really was. It was a bet. 3 boys wagered to see who could sleep with Brienne the Beauty. She overheard them laughing about it. This is what Brienne faced growing up. Not just rejection, cruelty. Not just people saying she couldn't be a knight, people making her feel like she was fundamentally wrong for wanting to be one. Most people would have given up. Would have decided the dream wasn't worth the pain, would have found some compromise, maybe become a proper lady, maybe given up on honor and just focused on survival. Brienne didn't. She kept believing in knighthood, kept training, kept fighting for the right to be who she was. That's the first proof that she never gave up. The world tried to break her before she even started, and she refused to break. Serving someone worthy. When we first meet Brienne in Season 2, she's serving Renly Baratheon. This is significant. Renly is one of the few people in Westeros who treats Brienne with genuine respect. He doesn't mock her. He doesn't see her as a curiosity. He values her skill and makes her part of his Kingsguard. She's not technically a knight. She can't be because she's a woman, but she's serving in the role of one, protecting someone she believes in, living according to knightly ideals. And then Renly dies, murdered by shadow magic, while Brienne is sworn to protect him. This is the moment when Brienne could have given up, when she could have decided that knighthood was a lie, that honor was meaningless, that all her training and dedication had been for nothing. She failed to protect the king she served. She watched him die in front of her, powerless to stop it. And then she's accused of his murder. Instead of giving up, Brienne finds a new purpose: protecting Catelyn Stark. Catelyn doesn't fully trust her at first. How could she? This massive woman warrior shows up, claiming to have been sworn to Renly, claiming innocence in his death. But Catelyn gives her a chance. And Brienne proves herself, again and again. She escorts Jaime Lannister across the war-torn Riverlands. She fights off multiple attackers. She keeps her vow even when Jaime himself questions her loyalty. When Catelyn is murdered at the Red Wedding, Brienne survives and immediately focuses on the vow Catelyn gave her: protect my daughters. This is crucial. Brienne doesn't just serve people when it's convenient. She doesn't abandon her vows when the person she swore to is dead. She finds a way to keep serving, to keep honoring her word, even when the original oath-giver is gone. She spends years searching for Sansa and Arya, years traveling through dangerous territory, facing constant threats, never knowing if she'll ever find them. Most people would give up, would decide the oath was fulfilled when Catelyn died, would find some new purpose that was easier, safer, more rewarding. Brienne keeps searching, keeps serving, because that's what a knight does. When knights prove unworthy, one of the most powerful aspects of Brienne's story is that she keeps believing in knighthood, even as actual knights prove to be dishonorable, cowardly, and cruel. Think about the knights she encounters. Jaime Lannister, when she first meets him, is the Kingslayer, a knight who broke his most sacred vow and murdered the king he was sworn to protect. He's arrogant, cynical, mocking, everything a knight shouldn't be. The knights at Harrenhal are torturers and rapists. Brienne watches them brutalize prisoners, watches them follow the cruelest orders of the Mountain and Roose Bolton without question. Sir Meryn Trant beats Sansa on Joffrey's orders, a knight of the Kingsguard, one of the most elite warriors in Westeros, using his position to abuse a teenage girl. Gregor Clegane, the Mountain, is a knight. So is his brother, the Hound. Both are known for brutality and murder. The entire Kingsguard under Joffrey and Cersei becomes a joke. These are supposed to be the finest knights in the realm, sworn to protect the king and uphold justice. Instead, they're thugs and yes-men who follow orders without conscience. Brienne sees all of this. She watches knights, real knights, men who have been officially knighted, betray every ideal they supposedly stand for. This is where most people would become cynical, would decide that knighthood is just a title, that honor is a lie, that the whole system is corrupt and meaningless. The Hound explicitly tries to teach Arya this lesson. He mocks the very idea of knights, tells her that knights are killers like anyone else, just with better PR. But Brienne doesn't give up on the ideal. She keeps believing that knighthood should mean something, should stand for something. When she fights the Hound to protect Arya in Season 4, it's almost symbolic. The idealist versus the cynic, the woman who believes in honor versus the man who thinks honor is a joke. Brienne wins that fight, and she keeps winning, metaphorically, throughout the series, because she proves that honor isn't dead, that knighthood can mean something if someone actually lives by its principles. She becomes the knight that all those other men failed to be. The relationship that changed everything. The relationship between Brienne and Jaime is central to understanding why her knighting scene is so powerful. When they first meet, Jaime is everything Brienne despises. He's arrogant, cynical, dishonorable. He mocks her constantly, calls her wench, questions her motivations, makes crude jokes about her appearance. And Brienne judges him. She sees him as the Kingslayer, a knight who betrayed his vows, someone who represents everything wrong with knighthood in Westeros. But as they travel together, something changes. They start to see each other clearly. Jaime tells Brienne the truth about why he killed the Mad King. It wasn't cowardice or ambition, it was to save 500,000 people in King's Landing. Aerys was going to burn the entire city with wildfire. Jaime stopped him. He broke his vow to keep a greater vow. He sacrificed his honor, his reputation, his identity as a knight to save innocent lives. And no one believed him. No one cared. They just called him Kingslayer and assumed the worst. Brienne understands this immediately, because she knows what it's like to be judged unfairly, to have people assume the worst about you because you don't fit their expectations. For Brienne, it's her appearance and her gender. People see her and assume she can't be a real warrior, can't have real honor, can't be taken seriously. For Jaime, it's his reputation. People see the Kingslayer and assume he's dishonorable, cowardly, only out for himself. They're both people who don't fit the world's expectations. And in recognizing this in each other, they form one of the most genuine friendships in the entire series. Watch what Jaime does after that conversation. When they're captured and the Bolton soldiers are about to rape Brienne, Jaime stops them. Not with violence, he can't, he's chained up, but with words. He lies, says she's valuable, says her father will pay ransom in sapphires. He protects her. The Kingslayer, the man everyone thinks is purely selfish, sacrifices his pride to save Brienne from being raped. And later, after he's released and could easily ride away to safety, he comes back for her, jumps into a bear pit to save her life. These actions plant a seed. Jaime starts changing, starts trying to be the knight he always wanted to be. And crucially, importantly for the knighting scene, he learns this from Brienne. She never gave up on the ideal. She kept believing in honor, even when the world gave her every reason not to. And by witnessing her unwavering dedication, Jaime starts to believe again, too. Brienne didn't just refuse to give up on herself. She inspired someone else to stop giving up, too.
Every time she could have quit. Throughout the series, Brienne faces countless moments where giving up would have been reasonable, understandable, even wise. After Renly dies, she could have gone home to Tarth, accepted that her service was over, found some safer, quieter life. After Catelyn dies, she could have decided the vow was fulfilled, that she'd done enough, that protecting Stark daughters who were scattered across Westeros, possibly dead, was an impossible task. When Sansa rejects her service, Brienne finds Sansa at Winterfell in Season 5 and offers to protect her. Sansa, influenced by Littlefinger, refuses. This is crushing. Brienne has spent years searching, and when she finally finds Sansa, she's turned away. She could have left, could have decided that Sansa didn't want her help. Instead, she stays, watches from a distance, and when Sansa lights the candle in the tower, the signal that she needs help, Brienne is ready. She kills the Bolton soldiers, she rescues Sansa and Theon. After Stannis' defeat, Brienne has been waiting years to execute Stannis for killing Renly with blood magic. She finally gets her chance. She finds him wounded after the Battle of Winterfell and kills him. But this means she misses the candle. She fails to save Sansa when Sansa needs her. She could have given up then, could have decided she'd failed, that her personal revenge was more important than her vow, that she wasn't worthy of serving anyone. Instead, she tracks Sansa down, finds her again, and this time, when she offers her service, Sansa accepts. During the Battle of the Bastards, Brienne is on the wrong side of the battlefield. She can't reach Sansa. She has to watch the battle from a distance, not knowing if the woman she's sworn to protect will survive. When Arya and Sansa fight in Season 7, Brienne is caught in the middle. She's sworn to protect both Stark daughters, and they seem to be turning on each other. She could have chosen sides, could have given up on one to focus on the other. She doesn't. She keeps faith that they'll work it out, keeps serving both of them. every single one of these moments is an opportunity to quit, to decide the dream isn't worth it, to compromise or give up or find an easier path. Brienne never does. She keeps going, keeps serving, keeps believing in what a knight should be. The night before the long night. This brings us back to Season 8, Episode 2, the night before the Battle of Winterfell. Everyone knows they might die tomorrow. The army of the dead is coming. The Night King is bringing a force that's already destroyed the wall and slaughtered everyone in its path. So they gather by the fire. Warriors who fought across Westeros, who've survived countless battles, who are all, in their own ways, broken and scarred by the Game of Thrones. There's Jaime Lannister, who lost his sword hand and his identity as a warrior. There's Tyrion, who's been betrayed and nearly killed by his own family. There's Tormund, who watched most of his people die when the wall fell. There's Podrick, the squire who's been loyal beyond reason. And there's Brienne. The conversation turns to knighthood. Tormund asks why Brienne isn't a knight. She says she can't be, she's a woman. And Jaime, who has learned honor from watching her, who has been redeemed in part by her example, says something beautiful. Any knight can make a knight. This is the key, the rule everyone forgot, or the rule everyone ignored because it was inconvenient. You don't need the high septon, you don't need a king, you just need a knight who believes you're worthy. And Jaime believes, because he's watched Brienne for years, watched her keep vows when everyone else broke them, watched her fight honorably when everyone else fought dirty, watched her believe in knighthood when even actual knights had given up. So he says, "Kneel, Lady Brienne." The final truth. I am no lady. Brienne says this at the beginning of the knighting scene. It's defensive, almost apologetic. She's responding to being called my lady by explaining that she doesn't have that title. But there's something deeper in those words, something that speaks to her entire journey. She's not a lady in the traditional sense. She rejected that path, refused to be what society expected her to be, chose armor over dresses, swords over needlework, vows over marriage. The world told her this was wrong, that she should give up her dreams and be normal, be acceptable, be what a woman was supposed to be. She refused, and by refusing, by never giving up on who she really was, she became something greater than a lady. She became a knight, and not just any knight. She became the truest knight in all of Westeros. The knighting scene proves Brienne never gave up, not on her dream of being a knight, not on her belief in honor, not on the idea that she could be who she was meant to be, regardless of what society said. This scene proved Brienne of Tarth never gave up, not on her dream, not on her principles, not on herself. And because she never gave up, she became exactly what she always wanted to be. A knight. Not despite being a woman, not in spite of her appearance, not as an exception or a compromise, but because of everything she was, everything she refused to stop being. The girl who was mocked became the woman who was knighted. The warrior who was rejected became the Lord Commander. The dreamer who was told to give up became the person who proved dreams can come true. If you stay true to who you are, if you keep fighting for what you believe in, if you never, ever give up,